Hello there, you're tuned into 7Edition with me, Sabrina Zainal. Here are the headlines tonight. New Yang di-Pertuan Agong to be elected on January 24th. Government plans to introduce a refined education system. And Saudi woman who barricaded herself in Thailand hotel room will not be deported. A special meeting of the Conference of the Malay Rulers to elect the 16th Yang di-Pertuan Agong and his deputy will convene on January 24th. The keeper of the ruler's seal, Tan Sri Syed Daniel Syed Ahmad, said the matter was decided by the rulers in their meeting at 10:30 a.m. today at Istana Negara.
A statement issued by Tan Sri Syed Daniel also said that the rulers also fixed January 31st for the swearing-in ceremony of the new Agong and his deputy. The meeting today was attended by the Sultan of Terengganu, Sultan Mizan Zainal Abidin, Raja Perlis, Tuanku Syed Sirajuddin Tuanku Syed Putra Jamalullah, Yang di-Pertuan Besar Negeri Sembilan, Tuanku Muhriz Tuanku Munawir, Sultan of Johor, Sultan Ibrahim Sultan Iskandar, Sultan of Perak, Sultan Nazrin Shah, and Sultan of Kedah, Sultan Salihuddin Sultan Badli Shah. The meeting was convened following Sultan Muhammad V's abdication of the throne as the Yang di-Pertuan Agong effective yesterday. The statement also read that the Sultan of Pahang, Sultan Ahmad Shah, could not attend the meeting due to ill health, while the Sultan of Selangor, Sultan Sharafuddin Idris Shah, is overseas. According to Tan Sri Syed Daniel, the Malay rulers present took cognizance and respected Sultan Muhammad V's decision to step down as Agong. They also recorded their highest appreciation to the Sultan Muhammad V for fulfilling the trust placed in His Majesty during his tenure from December 13, 2016 until January 6, 2019.
Adilnya pemerintahan bagi Malaysia dengan mengikut sebagaimana undang-undang.
Now, police today reminded the public to avoid stirring up negative sentiments about the resignation of Sultan Muhammad V as the 15th Yang di-Pertuan Agong. Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Muhammad Fuzi Harun said action will be taken against offenders in accordance with the law. After presenting the Pingat Jasa Pahlawan Negara to 347 serving officers in the Sarawak Police Force in Kuching, he said the police were investigating a number of reports that had been lodged on the matter.
Report ni banyak berkaitan dengan social media report. Jadi kita pun telah membuka kertas siasatan berikutan banyak laporan polis dibuat oleh pihak tertentu berhubung perkara ini. Jadi bagilah kita ruang, kita secepat mungkin akan menyiapkan kertas siasatan dan kita akan rujuk kepada DPP lah untuk tindakan lanjut pihak PDRM.
News of Sultan Muhammad V stepping down in a statement by the Comptroller of the Royal Household, Datuk Wan Ahmad Dahlan Abdul Aziz, on Sunday evening. The statement said the king, who began his reign on December 13, 2016, had stepped down from his post in accordance with Article 32, subsection 3 of the Federal Constitution. Now, at the Prime Minister's first working visit to Terengganu since taking office, he announced today that the government plans to introduce a refined education system aimed at shaping Malaysians to be more competent in a bid to help advance the nation more rapidly than before. He said the new curriculum will place an emphasis on the English language, the real teachings of Islam, as well as mastery of science and technology subjects.
Dasar pendidikan kita bukan sahaja untuk memberi ilmu, tetapi juga untuk membentuk pribadi yang baik. Untuk ini kita perlu tumpu kepada ajaran agama kita berkenaan dengan apa dianya nilai-nilai hidup yang patut dipegang oleh orang Islam. Saya harap semua anggota warga pendidikan akan ambil perhatian kepada perkara ini. Kita akan ubah kurikulum dalam sekolah-sekolah supaya tumpuan diberi kepada penguasaan ajaran Islam yang sebenar, penguasaan bahasa Inggeris dan penguasaan sains dan teknologi. Dengan ini kita fikir kita mampu berdiri sama tinggi, duduk sama rendah dengan bangsa-bangsa lain di dunia. Sekian, terima kasih.
He said the move should not be politicized as it was formulated for the benefits of the nation. The Premier and his wife, Tun Dr. Siti Hasma Muhammad Ali, also spent some time with special needs children at Taman Sinar Harapan in Bukit Besar in Kuala Terengganu. Also present was Women, Family and Community Development Deputy Minister Hannah Yeo. Now, to give us more insight into the matter, we have on the line with us now the Secretary General of the United National Union of the Teaching Profession, NUTP, Harry Tan Huat Hock. Hello there, Harry. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Sabrina. Okay, thank you for having me.
Now, let's get it started. First of all, this step to emphasize and focus more on the English language, Islamic studies and science and technology subjects, is it something new? Has it been done before?
Okay, the key word in the question is to focus. Now, the curriculum drawn up today is the result of extensive research and planning by the Curriculum Development Center over the years. Our new curriculum is based on credit hours and improving higher order thinking skills among our students. To us, there is no need for a change, but to look at the way we implement the curriculum. For example, in the teaching of English, we have a shortage of English optionists. As a result, we identify teachers who are trained in other subjects to teach English because they are the ones that can only speak English in the school. So we have history teachers teaching English as a subject and not as a language. So the problem of teaching English correctly will never happen no matter how good the curriculum is. Now, as for the perception that our national schools are religious schools, that is totally untrue. If we were to compare the religious periods in a national school, it is only 6 periods a week and only 10% compared to all the subjects taught in the school. And if we were to compare the vernacular schools, the religious studies, or in this case, Islamic studies taught in vernacular schools for Muslim students, it is also the same. It is also 6 periods, which is about 10% of all the subjects taught. So in this way, we feel that the allegation that the national schools are actually religious schools is not true.
All right then, but if this were to be implemented, the emphasis on these 3 subjects, what are the changes that can be expected to occur among students?
Okay, I think it's not the change of the subjects, but it's the way we teach the subjects. So if, as I said, that we have emphasis on higher order thinking skills, students will be more we will be more open to the way that it is taught. Because there will be discovery methods, there will be collaborative methods, and so on and so forth. And the new way that the ministry is approaching the subjects, probably at the younger, at the year 1 to year 3, where the students are no longer needed to sit for year-end and mid-year summative exams. Well, that's a positive step in trying to make teaching fun for the students, trying to make them figure out, trying to make them think more for themselves and why they want to learn a particular subject, and not only for getting an A in their subject.
All right, then we only have time for one last question. Now, you mentioned that higher order thinking skills will come out of, the emphasis of these subjects. So how would it be implemented? For example, would the whole syllabus of each of the subjects be changed, or would there be extra classes? Would it be a really huge difference compared to how it is now?
The curriculum is already tailored to cater for this. Now, in Bloom's taxonomy, we always start off with the lowest level of learning, which is maybe rote learning, regurgitating what we have learned, But on the higher end of the scale is that the students are taught to evaluate, to apply what they have taught, what they have learned. So this is what the new curriculum emphasizes on. So with that, we hope that the students will be able to attain a higher order of thinking, evaluating, and also coming to conclusions that are more positive and logical in that sense.
All right, then. Thank you so much for joining us once again and for sharing your insights.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Harry.
Bye.
Now, moving on, at the same event, the Prime Minister, who is also Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia, Bersatu chairman, said he hopes more Malays will join the party as it is a party that will protect and champion the interests of the race.
Ya, mereka timbang kita daripada awal lagi. Mereka tahu kita adalah Parti Pribumi Melayu. Itu mereka sudah. Jadi kita sebagai Parti Pribumi Melayu tentulah utamakan masalah orang Melayu. Tetapi kita juga bertimbang berkenaan dengan masalah parti-parti lain. Kita tidak mendesak sesuatu yang merugikan parti lain. Cuma kita mendesak supaya kepentingan orang Melayu ini diberi perhatian. Seperti yang saya sebutkan tadi, kita dapati kata-kata orang mengaku bahawa orang Melayu adalah golongan yang termiskin dalam negara berbilang kaum ini. Dan ini tidak seharusnya jadi begitu. Jadi kita perlu tentukan sebab-sebab dan kita perlu buat perubahan supaya orang Melayu juga dapat sama banyak nikmat kekayaan negara kita.
He added that UMNO is no longer relevant in fighting for the Malay race. Moving on, the Education Ministry has refuted claims that tenders to supply cooked food to school hostels had been monopolized by supporters of Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia. In a statement today, it said the allegations made by a social media user were slanderous and aimed at tarnishing the ministry's image. Now, the ministry said for the first time ever, procurements in 2018 were fully done online through the e-Perolehan or EP system. It added decisions were made based on the evaluation matrix set by the Finance Ministry with the evaluation marks generated by the EP. The procurement board is chaired by the Ministry Deputy Director Generals and attended by representatives from the Finance Ministry and Public Works Department. A total of 793 tenders had been carried out through the EP, including for the supply of cooked food, security services, and cleaning services. In other news, a husband and wife were charged today at the Johor Bahru Magistrates Court with the murder of a 5-year-old boy. No plea was recorded when the charge was read before Magistrate Rashidah Baharum. 33-year-old Muhammad Wirah Muhammad Yaqub and Nur Akmal Rosli, aged 22, allegedly committed the offence at a house in Taman Sentosa, Johor Bahru on December 25th. They were charged under the Penal Code for murder, read together with Section 34 of the same Act. The two suspects are the father and stepmother of Muhammad Dizwar, who were detained by police on December 26th following a report on the death of the boy from the Sultan Ismail Hospital the same day. The child was unconscious when sent to the hospital with swellings and bruises on his head, chest, stomach, and both his calves. A post-mortem later revealed the cause of death was due to blunt force trauma on the victim's body. The court has set February 17th for case mention, pending the post-mortem results. Two Pakistani men were fined 100,000 ringgit each by the Kota Bahru Magistrates Court today for possessing and selling contraband cigarettes worth 152 ringgit. 26-year-old Rizwan Ullah and Tariq Zaman, aged 25, pleaded guilty to the charge. Now, the duo were the first in the country to be charged under Section 135, subsection 1D of the Customs Act, which came into effect early this month. They were accused of possessing 900 sticks of illicit Saat brand cigarettes at a grocery shop owned by one of the accused at Jalan Pasir Mas Salor on Friday. This after an inspection was carried out by enforcement officers at the premises. Further checks revealed that the two individuals, one of whom is the shop attendant, did not have valid documents to prove that the cigarettes were imported legally. The duo faced 12 months imprisonment if they failed to pay the fine. Now, the Kuala Lumpur High Court today fixed February 20th to decide on an application by the federal government and 4 others to strike out a suit brought by a teenager for negligence over a circumcision that went awry when he was 10 years old. Judge Datuk Nik Hasmat Nik Muhammad set the date after hearing arguments by both parties.
The 5 who were named as the second to 6 defendants were a medical officer and a director at the Kuala Lipis Hospital in Pahang, as well as a specialist doctor and a director at the Selayang Hospital in Selangor and the government. However, the first respondent, a medical assistant at the Kuala Lipis Hospital who had previously filed to strike out the suit, has withdrawn his application. The application filed by the second to 6 defendants was made on grounds that the circumcision procedure was conducted at the first defendant's private premises and done outside his official duty. They also filed the application on grounds that they were not involved and had no knowledge about the procedure being done by the first defendant. They, among others, are seeking to strike out the suit as they had not contributed or caused any injury or disability to the boy. On July 19th last year, the man, now 19, filed a suit through his mother, claiming that he was permanently incapacitated due to the incident. She is seeking general and special damages as well as interest and other costs which the court deems fit.
Now, again, the Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court today allowed an application by former Sabah Chief Minister Tan Sri Musa Aman to release his impounded international passport, enabling him to seek treatment in London. Judge Rosina Ayub allowed the application on condition that Musa would travel only to Singapore and London between January 15th and February 10th. Otherwise, he faces forfeiture of the bail. Rosina said Tan Sri Musa would have to report to the Malaysian High Commission in Singapore and in London every 3 days during the period he would be there. The accused must furnish to the court the address of his accommodation in Singapore and London before the passport can be released. She also ordered Tan Sri Musa to return the passport by February 11th at the latest and said that surety was required to be responsible for the accused and know of his whereabouts. The court imposed a temporary bail of 200,000 ringgit and 2 sureties for the release of the passport, with the bail sum to be returned upon Tan Sri Musa's surrender of the passport to the court after he is back from treatment. Tan Sri Musa claimed trial to 35 counts of corruption involving $63.3 million or 263 million ringgit in connection with timber concession contracts in Sabah. Now, former Goldman Sachs banker Roger Ng will remain in prison after the same Sessions Court dismissed his application to be released on bail, pending his extradition proceedings to the United States to face 3 criminal charges relating to One Malaysia Development Berhad, 1MDB. In passing the decision, presiding judge M.M. Edwin Paramjoti said there was insufficient evidence regarding Ng's health condition and cited a flight risk where there is the possibility that he would abscond. Ng's defense team, led by Datuk Tan Hock Chuan, submitted the application last week for the former banker to be released in order to prepare his defense against the extradition proceedings. The lawyer argued that his client was suffering from leptospirosis, suspected dengue, and a viral infection while he was being held in custody. The Sessions Court judge, however, ruled that the arguments were inadequate to justify Ng's release, particularly due to the high-profile nature of the case. January 22nd was then set as the next date for the councils to update the court on any development in the extradition case. When we return, caterer arrested for making wedding cake out of foam. The details up next. Welcome back. Let's hop on to our daily segment Clickbait, where we take a look at what's trending and making rounds in the cyber world today. Now, it's safe to say that everybody wants a perfect wedding, right? Unfortunately, this Filipino couple's wedding did not go as planned after finding out that their wedding cake was made out of, can you believe it, polystyrene. Take a look. Shine Tamayo, aged 26, and her husband, John Chen, aged 40, paid 140,000 pesos, equivalent to almost 30,000 ringgit, to their wedding planner and placed full trust in them to make their wedding reception as perfect as it could be. However, when they arrived at the reception in Pasig City on December 3rd, there was no food in sight. With no other choice, the newlyweds had to make do with takeaway food from local shops to feed their guests. But that was only the beginning. The ultimate humiliation for the bride came when she sliced her wedding cake, only to discover it had been stuffed with polystyrene. It became too much for the bride, who was caught on video breaking down in tears. Seeking justice, Shine and her guests made a report at a nearby police station, and the wedding planner was subsequently arrested on suspicion of fraud. How sad. Now updated as of 7 p.m., here are the top trending topics and searches on the internet today. The Employees Provident Fund, EPF, today announced that employers will from now make a minimum statutory contribution of 4% for employees above 60 years old against the present practice of contributing between 6 and 6.5%. In a statement today, the pension fund said employees' share contribution, on the other hand, will now be at 0%. The new minimum rate would take effect with the January 2019 salary for a contribution month of February 2019. The move to reduce the statutory contribution rates follows the government's proposal during the tabling of the 2019 budget to help increase the take-home pay of employees who continue to work after reaching age 60. It said the reduction in employers' share would also encourage employment opportunities for workers above 60 years of age, thus ensuring the population above 60 years old remain productive and active in the economy. However, employees who are currently contributing to the EPF at the current rate of 5 to 5.5% can opt to continue with their contribution. Coming up, Bohemian Rhapsody wins big in the 2019 Golden Globes Awards. We'll be right back.